The science fiction action film Universal Soldier, I like this one. It was my first time looking at it, and I have to say that despite some of the issues that it does have, it's not an outright dumpster fire. To be honest, this film is something alright, but it's really nothing anything special either. So the story of this one is that when two US Army soldiers are killed in the Vietnam War, they are reanimated decades later in a secret military project called the Universal Soldier Program. And from there, it's a film that I thought was alright. I didn't outright hate this one, but at the same time, I was thinking to myself, this one could have been a whole lot better if they had explained the origins of the Universal Soldier Program. But since that doesn't happen, then it just feels like a typical action film with some sci-fi elements thrown in, especially during a decade when there was better sci-fi movies compared to this. And while yes, this one is entertaining, but the story is weak and the characters don't have strong character development either. I will say, since director Roland Emmerich had worked on this movie is better than Independence Day Resurgence and Moonfall, but that's not saying much considering how I was bored at certain parts watching this film. Nonetheless, do I recommend this movie to people who hasn't seen it? Yeah, and the only reason I say that is because despite how many issues this one has, at least it does have some entertaining parts. Now, when it comes to the characters, I thought they was okay. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Luck, his acting is, it's not great. Now, to be honest, every time I look at a Jean-Claude Van Damme film, I'm looking at the fighting first, then the acting, because in the films I've seen him, man, his acting has always been subpar. I'm not saying he's a horrible actor, but just seeing him in this film be all robotic. And I know in this film he's playing a mind-controlled soldier brought back from the dead, but seriously, a little bit of personality went a long way with that character. At least Dolph Lundgren, he does a better job. It looked like he really enjoyed playing the character of Andrew. Like, seriously, this guy is a complete maniac. He has some one-liners. And overall, I like his characterization because at one point in the film, he does act robotic just as Luck does. But when he starts to remember who he was, well, then he acts like his old psychotic self. Now, the lack of chemistry between Ali Walker and Jean-Claude Van Damme is noticeable. Yeah, Ali Walker, her acting is pretty bad. Damsel in distress. Nothing interesting about that character, to be honest. And the thing about that character, if you would have took her out of the film, the movie wouldn't have been affected all that much, to be honest. She's not forgettable, but at the same time, she's not really interesting. But what saves this movie from being outright dumpster fire is, well, the action scenes. Yeah, the action scenes. Usually when I go into a film, I'm looking at the story first, but I thought the action here was pretty good. It kept my interest. But they will improve upon some of the things in this film, such as the backstories of Andrew and Luck. And of course, make the story better, then I would have been even more invested with this movie. At the end of the day, not a awful film, but it's not great either. It's a movie that's in the middle that doesn't do a whole lot other than just being mindless entertainment. I don't give him this film a 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's okay. Nothing really special. Now, this one did start a franchise, but the direct sequel, Universal Soldier, The Return, I have seen some parts of that, and boy, is it much worse than what's in this movie. Anyway, though, if this film had made the story more impactful, then I would have had cared a lot more about these characters. Ironically enough, this is not one of the worst movies of the 1990s. It's somewhat entertaining, but at the same time, it's not as memorable compared to other sci-fi movies that came out during that decade. And that's my review of Universal Soldier. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.